morning, friends. This is the day after the first pressure canning project that we did together yesterday, and last night it ended up getting quite late. It had taken a little bit longer for the pressure to get up than I thought it would, because it hadn't taken as long on the trial run when there was just water in the canner when I was doing it like a test run. So actually when the jars were in and I was waiting for the pressure to get up, also I didn't want to have the temperature too high so the pressure went up too much too fast, and then having to worry, you know, faff about jiggling the temperature to keep the dial at number 11, which needs to be for my altitude here. I let the pressure go gradually on a lower temperature and let it build gradually, which is what they recommend you do, and very experienced pressure canners will tell you that. So last night, by the time they were ready to be able to take out the canner, it was getting late. I was absolutely crippled with back pain because I'd literally been on my feet all day. So Andy, my husband, he took the cans out for me, well, the jars out for me. We left them to rest overnight for 12 hours. This morning I took the rings off after 12 hours of resting, and I'm happy to report they've all sealed, every one of them. So I'll just show you now how to test. So this is the jar. I'm going to leave these now for the rest of the day before I put them in the pantry. Tonight what I'll do is I'll just wash the outsides of the jars with some warm soapy water, and I will put them away in the pantry. But how you know is you just pick them up by the lid, not the side of the jar, the lid. If you can lift that jar up without that lid coming off, and there's quite a lot of weight in these, you know they've sealed. And they don't, you know when you buy a can from the shop, you can press it in the middle, and if it presses in, you know it's not right. It's the same principle with these. If you press them in the middle and they make that funny dinting noise, then you know they're not sealed. But they, I'm happy to report, have all sealed. So I'm so thrilled that my very first pressure canning job was a success. I'm absolutely chuffed. If there were any jars that hadn't sealed, I would have just popped them in the fridge and we would have eaten the beef stew within a couple of days. It still wouldn't have gone to waste, but the more success you have, obviously the more you've got to put away in your pantry. So I just wanted to show you, oh, I'll be back in a minute. Sorry, the dog's playing up, there's nobody there. Sit down, please. Thank you. What were I saying? Completely forgotten. So yeah, what I'll be doing today is the chicken. I've got everything cut up now, all the pieces of the vegetables and the chicken cut up now. Just waiting for the jars to finish in the dishwasher. So once they're finished, I'll then start recording the chicken meal in a jar. It'd be just a chicken stew, just like yesterday was a beef stew. I did forget to season it with salt and pepper yesterday, but that does not matter. That does not compromise the safety of that food. It's the pressure at the right length of time, at the right pressure, and following all the proper pressure canning instructions that guarantees the safety of this. Now, once that is in the pantry, every now and again, periodically, I will go and check that these jars are still sealed, because it's just good practice to make sure nothing's happening with them that shouldn't be. And also, we don't want to stack them. We don't stack them because if this seal does go, you won't know, because the weight of this jar could cause it to reseal again, and air and bacteria will have got in there without you knowing. That's the other reason why we don't keep these rings on, to lead you into a false sense of security that they're sealed and they're not. So leaving it like this in the pantry undisturbed in a cool dark pantry, if you can, a cool dark cupboard somewhere. Leave them in there. They'll last for, well, I would say minimum 2 years. Canners that I know go back to their canning 5 years later. They're canned goods and they're absolutely fine. I will probably err on the side of caution for myself because I'm new to this, but very well experienced, well seasoned canners have kept their stuff for 5 years easily, and because they've stored it well in a dark, cool place, that food has lasted in that jar for a long time. So I'll be back with you in a minute for you, about an hour for me, when the jars are ready, and we will get on with the chicken stew. This will be our second pressure canning project together. So I will see you very soon, friends. Hi friends, I'm back. The jars have washed. Dishwasher's just finished. So we'll make a start, shall we, on the chicken. So just like yesterday, really. Layering the food up, putting the stock in. You can put bay leaf in if you want. A bit of thyme or oregano, anything you want. Again, like the beef, I'm going to leave mine plain, and I will put in what I choose when I come to warm the meal up at a later date. So first of all, I'll put the chicken in, go wash my hands, and then I'll put the vegetables in. So I'll just put the camera down so you can see. Hope that's okay for you. So I prepped everything this morning off camera, because when I'm chopping vegetables, I do like to just, if I can, take my time and just go off into my own little world. So I don't, when I'm prepping vegetables, I don't really do them in a big rush unless I have to. So we're going to start with popping some chicken breast in that I just cut up this morning. And we'll try and get it, like the beef, as equal as possible. I normally use a funnel for this, which I'll show you in a moment, but I find it hinders more than it helps. Some canners prefer to use the funnel. I do when I'm putting the liquid in, usually, just to get my headspace guide, really. So I'm using ready-made stock this morning just because I did can my chicken stock yesterday, didn't I? So I don't want to break the seal on that just yet and have use that. So I have just used some ready-made stock. If you can get low sodium, that would be better. I'm just going to cut a little bit more chicken up. I don't think we've got quite enough, so I'll be back in a moment. Right, so I've just used another chicken breast, and I will have used 4 decent sized chicken breasts between 7 jars, which I don't think's bad. 7 meals, that's pretty good. So I think that is roughly equal. I'm not going to bother weighing it and checking each one. I am literally just doing it by eye. So just wash my hands again. Right, so we'll go on to the veg now. And oh, I forgot to drain the potatoes. Give me a second. Sorry guys, I've been so busy this morning that I'm chasing myself at the moment. There we go. So hopefully I can get everything done today that I'd like to get done, really. Just been very busy morning. Cooked husband's breakfast, which I like to do if I'm not working, if I get a chance. And then went out and fed the tomato plants because they were looking a bit grim. And got some housework done, got some laundry done, cleaned up in here after prepping all this, washed up, refilled the dishwasher, just got a few things on the sink draining. So if I pan the camera around and you see dishes, they're just draining. I'm only using this little 1/4 cup scoop just to try and get it somewhat even. It's not that I'm trying to be exact or anything. Just haven't cut through them quite well enough. So after hubby had gone to work, I sat here and just prepped the veg, uploaded the next video that's due tomorrow, got that edited and uploaded. So yeah, it's been quite a productive morning, which I'm always happy when I've done quite a lot. Yesterday was exceptionally busy, so, but it is, isn't it, when you've got preps to do, it's all good, isn't it? So I'm just going to put, that's the chicken and the potatoes. So I think I'm not going to put salt in because, like I said to you before, I'm just using this time some shop bought stock. Just, I don't want to open up those cans, and plus just to show you, you can use shop bought stock if you need to. Just like I said, try and get the low sodium. So these are the carrots now, as you can see, obviously. Whoops. I think I said to you yesterday, I don't like putting too many carrots in because I find carrots, I love raw carrot, absolutely love raw carrot, but I find a lot of cooked carrot, for me, can taste quite soapy. So I haven't put too much carrot in there. And I am going to put some mushrooms in that I prepped yesterday and I put in a bag to save in the fridge. I'm just going to save this bag though, just in case I have a few more to put back in the fridge later, because they will do for hubby's breakfast in the morning, you see, before he goes to work. So I'm just going to put probably about 3 or 4 slices in each of mushroom. That'll be a nice flavour, won't it, for the soup, the chicken soup, or stew, whatever you want to call it. You can call it what you want if you're making it, can't you? Now I do think for the few remaining there, I'll divvy it up because I have got some mushrooms in the fridge for hubby's breakfast in the morning anyway, some that I haven't sliced up yet. So I will empty the celery into the dish. It just saves on the sound of rattling bags too much, doesn't it? That sounds horrible on can sound horrible on a video, can't it? So I'll just get these in dishes. Sorry about that noise. So I'll just put a few onions in. Again, if I have any left over, I can just prep them for tea tonight, whatever I decide to make. We had a full chicken dinner last night because I'd cooked that chicken for the stock, hadn't I? So we had a full chicken dinner and it was delicious. Not something we usually do midweek, so it was a nice change. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of celery in each. There we go. Divvy it up. Like I said, most of this is what I already prepped yesterday. I only had to do potatoes and carrots this morning, so that was a bonus. Right, so because we want this to be quite full, I am going to very quickly peel a couple more potatoes to top these jars up. So I will be back in a second. So I've just cut up a couple more medium-sized potatoes just to top those jars off, because we do want them well packed. Come on. So I don't think you can ever have too much potato. I love potatoes. You can put in really as much or as little as each item as you want, really. It's just to make sure you do have plenty in the jars. Right, that will do for that. I am not, like I said, putting any salt in. So we're just going to now use the funnel and top this up with some stock, giving a 1-inch headspace. And like yesterday, we will wipe the rims with vinegar. Pop some in a little dish. I didn't have that prepped today. Just grab some more stock. I won't be a mo. Now yesterday I was using stock that was very hot because I'd only just finished making it. So I had the water in the pressure canner warm, I had the jars warm, and the chicken stock was quite warm. Today this has cooled down because I made it a while ago. So what I will do, what I'm doing is I'm having the water in the, I'm having the jars cold, the chicken stock is cold, so the water in the canner will be cold as well, because I don't want any shock to these glasses and crack them. So I'm just going to make some more chicken stock up. Okay, so just a little bit lower if I can. I'm sure I can get you. No, that's better. So I'll just top these up. I will have to put a little bit more in, I think. I think I've got it quite where it needs to be. So let's just get it a little bit more in there. Because like I said, we will be washing the rims anyway. So to ensure we've got a really good seal. There we go. It's just taking your time really and making sure you do each process. There we go. And then it might need a little bit more when we've debubbled. I'll be looking forward to my debubbler coming next week, because I don't, like I said to you yesterday, I don't like using metal. I've got no plastic. So you're literally just popping your debubbler in, getting all those air bubbles out. There you see. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but as you sort of gently wiggle down, you will see air bubbles coming up. I'll just turn that pan down. I do have some lids in the pan, but I don't want them to boil. I'm just warming them to soften them. So just, I hope you can see that on camera. I'm sorry if you can't. Just as you pop the knife in, it just brings the bubbles up to the surface. Having air in there, you see, air bubbles in there, you've got air in, haven't you? So it can help with the bacteria, which you want to avoid. So you're just literally making sure there's no bubbles in there. go. These things are worth taking your time over because you don't want to go to all this effort for your food to be compromised. There we go. Happy, happy, happy. Wonderful. I don't know if you can hear that little noise in the background. That's just the lids simmering, so I'll just take them off the heat now. And then we'll wipe the rims with vinegar. I'm sorry if I'm awfully quiet this morning. I'm absolutely exhausted from yesterday. And like I said, it was a late night as well. So I'm absolutely shattered. So these are the lids going on now. There we go. I like to use these because I like to handle these as little as possible, really. Just pop that back in a minute. Hot water. There we go. I didn't do my rims, did I? Sorry, guys. I'm really not with it today, am I? Right, get them in the hot water that's been simmering. Get them nice and clean. Oops. Having one of those days, I think, again. Right, start again. Start again. There we go. Don't worry about them lids. They're in very hot water. They'll be fine. I don't like the water to get to boiling point, and that had, so I know that they'll be fine in that water there. Just giving it, and like I said, this is a great exercise for checking that your rims don't have any dents and cracks in them as well. No damage to the rims of the jars, which would compromise the seal. See, I just wiped some food off there now, and that really would have interfered with the seal if that had been left on. It's just not worth risking, is it, when you've gone to all this effort? So, try again now, shall we? Try again. There we go. They're fine. So you're just going to pop the lids on each one. And then we'll pop the rings on and we'll get them in the canner. These are pint jars, so like the beef yesterday, it will take 75 minutes once the pressure is up. So there will be a while before I can come back and show you. Did do a spare lid just in case we had any more. And finger tight only. Don't try and screw them on too tightly, because that will make the lid buckle. It will cause siphoning, or could cause siphoning, and you won't get a proper seal. You won't get a seal at all. So finger tight is the way to go. Wonderful. So I'll get these in the canner. I will take you over so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll do the next stage. Okay, so we have the rack already in the canner. So we are just going to, oops, sorry about that. We are just going to pop these cans in there. little hair doing in there? What's that? Get out. Get out. Then we can always pop some empty jars with water in them if there's any gaps. So I'll just grab a jar to put in the middle with some water in it. To weigh it down. There we go. That will just help keep them stable. So we've got our seal in the lid, which I've put a little bit of oil on, because Presto say you can put oil on it. So apparently it helps. So there's a V on the lid here, which you probably won't be able to see on camera, and there's a V on the handle, the black handle here. So you line that up and you squeeze that closed. Not easy to do. It's very secure as this, absolutely fabulous. So now we're going to turn it on. We're going to let the pressure get up to 11 on the dial, which I'm going to try and show you if I can. If you can see that dial, once it's got to 11, I will put the timer on. So basically what we do, sorry, you're so high up there, aren't you? Basically what we do, I think I mentioned it yesterday, the vent that I showed you yesterday, we wait till the steam's coming out of that consistently. It's not just coming out in spits and spats. The little pressure at the back, the little pressure button at the back will pop up. The steam will be coming out of the vent consistently then. Once that's been coming up consistently for 10 minutes, we will put the weight on, the regulator on. That goes on there. Then the pressure will be brought up very gradually and carefully to 11. When it's at 11, I will set my timer for 75 minutes. I'll keep an eye on it throughout the course of the canning procedure though, because I don't want it to drop below 11. If it drops below 11, we've got to start the timing all over again once we get it back up to 11. So it's worth it for me to just keep an eye on it while I'm in the kitchen, making sure it's staying at 11 for 75 minutes. After that, I'll turn the heat off and I'll just leave it alone. Usually takes between half an hour to 45 minutes for the steam to come completely down. The little pressure button at the top will drop flat again. Then I'll be able to take this off, and then I'll just leave it again for another 10 minutes, and then I'll take the lid off. I'll take the jars out, stand them on a towel, that's to cushion them, and I will leave them in a draft-free place. Put a towel on a tray. So once I've put them down here, it's easier for me to lift them from the canner onto a towel-lined tray, and then very carefully take the jars over to a draft-free space and leave them there for 12 hours. Then I'll take the rings off, leave them for the rest of the day, check that they're sealed, and then put them away. So that's what we're up to now. How easy it was putting that chicken stew in a jar. That is a full meal in a jar there for putting in your pantry, putting away for a later date. So I'll say goodbye for now, and then I'll show you the end result later like we did on the last one. So for now, bye.